Democrat strategist James Carville just said that he doesn't want President Trump to die. Nope. Instead, he wants something much worse. He wants Trump to suffer. And what's even worse than that is the timing of when he said this craziness. Take a look.
I want to be clear on this. I do not want that man to die. I want to watch him suffer. And I can't watch a dead person suffer. So I want him to be fully cognizant come November. So when people tell him.
I mean, if hate had a face, it would be James Carville. If I had a picture dictionary and turned to the definition of hate, I would expect to see James Carville's face right there, because that right there is absolutely disgusting. He's not saying any of this for President Trump's benefit. He's saying it for his own sadistic pleasure. Yeah, he wants Trump to suffer. He basically wants to torture Trump. I don't know, maybe he has some wet dream fantasy of Democrats taking over in November and then prosecuting Trump, impeaching Trump, putting him in jail. Who knows what other sick fantasies he's concocted in his mind. And the worst part is he said this in the immediate aftermath of yet another assassination attempt on President Trump's life. A lot of people might say, well, Daniel, at least he's not calling for Trump's death. But what James Carville is hoping for here is even worse than death. He's hoping for prolonged, intentional suffering. I mean, imagine if you were on a road trip and you ran across this wounded animal on the side of the road. You stopped to check on it and you realized, hey, there's no hope of saving this animal. These are injuries that it is going to die from. Some people might say that killing it is actually putting it out of its misery. In that case, death would be better than sitting there and taking pleasure at watching a living being suffer and be tormented before death. And that's what James Carville wants. He wants Trump to suffer, in his own words. Of course, it's not a binary. It's not suffering or death. There are other options, such as lowering the temperature. Try that for a change, James Carville. But he doesn't want to lower the temperature. He doesn't want to change his rhetoric because this hate is now part of his DNA, just like the hatred is apparently now part of the Democrat Party. Don't forget, James Carville was once one of the most highly esteemed strategists in the entire Democrat Party. So for him to say this is a really big deal. In case you missed it, just a month ago, he was saying that he has TDS and he is proud to have TDS.
Look, you fat Trump, if you listen to this, you listen good, because what I'm getting ready to say is what a lot of people in this country speak for, who I speak for. And I speak for a lot of people. You hear me, you fat ass? This is what we believe. You're right. I got Trump Derangement Syndrome. I hate them. And you know what? I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get better. I want to get worse. I want to hate him more. I pray to God in heaven, God reign the righteous reign of Trump Derangement Syndrome. Pray for me, Lord. I'm your vessel on this earth. Pray for the people that listen to this. We want more. We want to hate the son of a so much that we can't see straight.
I'm sorry, I know it's not funny, but I can't help but want to laugh at how just ridiculous and pathetic he looks because of his hatred. I mean, it is sad that a human can hate another human so much, but as you can see, James Carville is proud of his Trump Derangement Syndrome, which is how I know that when he says he wants Trump to suffer, not die, he's actually hoping for something worse than President Trump. No, he's not saying he wants Trump to suffer as some sort of mercy or to spare Trump's life. He's actually hoping for something even worse than death, and it's proven there by the obvious hatefulness that James Carville has in his heart. Look, the reaction by the Democrats has been astounding. Many of them claiming that this assassination attempt was staged, many of them doubling down, and then you have people like Chuck Todd who are attempting to make the whole story about himself. While many of his colleagues are out there adding oxygen to this conspiracy theory that somehow this assassination attempt was staged, Chuck Todd, his response to this is, oh, I don't feel safe around President Trump. I feel like my life is in danger. So I'm no longer going to go where President Trump goes because I could be a target next. You can't make this stuff up.
I'm not going to any more events where Trump's at him. I don't feel safe. Wherever Donald Trump
Chaos follows him.
Chaos follows him. And you are less safe, right? If you decide to go into his orbit, you have become less safe. He does not care about your safety. He's not going to protect you if you go into his orbit, because he's always going to protect himself first. He's more likely to throw you under the bus. He's more likely to have you be the target of Iranian assassins if you're John Bolton or Mike Pompeo. And he's going to pull any sort of federal support, right? You know, I think about when somebody using Donald Trump's words and actions targeted me and a bunch of other members of the press. You know who I didn't hear from?
Donald Trump.
Right. So the guy doesn't care when people commit violence in his name. He only cares when the violence is committed against him, and he does not see that he is a contributor to the atmospherics of the world we're living in right now.
So Chuck Todd is going to avoid doing his job as a journalist, which is covering the news, covering the presidency in part. He's going to avoid doing that because he feels like he's in danger just by being around President Trump. Newsflash for Chuck Todd, you are not the target. President Trump is the target. The members in his administration are the target. And in fact, it's not that chaos follows President Trump. It's that the media and the Democrats, they've whipped up the whirlwind. Those were Chuck Schumer's words. The whirlwind will come and get you. Yes, I know he was talking about the Supreme Court, but really he was talking about all conservatives, all Republicans. So that right there is just an absolute ridiculous assertion by Chuck Todd. And it is a joke, right? Because the Democrats can't keep their story straight. Was this staged? Was this all theatrics? Or no, am I actually in danger and therefore I'm going to avoid him? Or as you see in the case of James Carville, doubling down on hateful. While Barack Obama decided to take a different tact from the rest of them. Barack Obama's tactic apparently is denial. This is what he posted on social media. Although we don't yet have the details, yes we do, about the motives behind last night's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, it's incumbent upon us to reject the idea that violence has any place in our democracy. It's also a sobering reminder of the courage and sacrifice that U.S. Secret Service agents show every day. I'm grateful to them and thankful that the agent who was shot is going to be okay. So that is absolutely sick. Even before the manifesto came out, and by the way, the manifesto came out yesterday when Barack Obama posted that. If I'm not mistaken, actually, on the timing, I believe Obama actually posted that after the manifesto was made public. Oh, we don't yet know the motivations? The motivations were apparent from the very beginning, and as more evidence came out, registered Democrat from California, crossed state lines, etc., not to mention the manifesto, it was just so obvious that you would be a fool to deny it, yet Barack Obama was trying to downplay it again. It might not be the outright hostility that James Carville is showing. It may not be the nasty self-righteousness that Chuck Todd has. But diminishing something is just as corrosive, just as dangerous to the national discourse. Well, speaking of dangerous to the national discourse, Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, was asked about his comments about maximum warfare against the Republicans. And guess what? He's not apologizing. Instead, he's doubling down. But before we get to that, I would like to acknowledge the members of today's Governor's Club. They are Super Roamer ×2, Moon Fairy 11 ×2, and Mag Negro, and I'm Just Me. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you enjoy. Well, Hakeem Jeffries is not doing himself or the Democrat Party any favors. Keep in mind, he said this in the immediate aftermath of yet another assassination attempt against President Trump.
Mr. Leader, I want to get your response. I realize this quote is a quotation from someone else, but you Republicans continue to hit you over saying maximum warfare everywhere all the time in your tweet after the Virginia election. So I want you to respond to that. And from a macro perspective, if you can, what are you advising your members to do about rhetoric right now that you can criticize the president without facing GOP criticism?
Political violence in any form directed at anyone, whether that's the right, the left, or the center, is unacceptable. Period. Full stop. The notion that any of us are concerned with so-called criticism from these phony Republicans as it relates to anything that has been said, certainly as it relates to the comment related to maximum warfare everywhere, all the time, in connection with the redistricting battle that Republicans launched. I stand by it. You can continue to criticize me for it. I don't give a damn about your criticism.
Talk about the hypocrisy. They claim that certain symbols are symbols of racism and hatred. They say that certain words can't be used because they're triggering. They say, like, they try to police our language. They try to police our thoughts. And yet, he wants to say that a phrase, maximum warfare, isn't corrosive. He wants to claim that that's not dangerous in a time when people are actually taking Democrats' words literally, bringing guns to political events, committing political violence as if they are in a war. The fact that he doesn't want to admit that tells me that the Democrat Party is just filled with pride at the very best, or at the very worst, they like seeing what's going on. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So what do you think? When James Carville said he doesn't want to watch Trump die, he wants to watch Trump suffer. Do you think he was being merciful towards President Trump? Do you think he was trying to do something good by saying, oh, we shouldn't kill Trump, we should protect his life? Or do you think he was hoping to achieve something even worse than death? In this case, maybe intentional suffering, torture, or some other sick fantasy. Like, what do you think James was hoping to achieve? Like, what is his end goal here? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.